was pretty overwhelming from Scuttle Squad. See if they can make it more of a challenge this time. We are back in the draft. They are going to ban Ginny's Galio, who had an amazing impact with it in tandem with Absent Desire. We'll see if they leave the Lilia open, if they feel like that wasn't really the problem last game, or if it were other factors. Seems like Scuttle Squad doesn't want to play against them immediately, and they might leave the Hecarim open. The only question that we have here is, who is gonna play Kai'Sa?
Nobody.
No one.
Kai'Sa gets taken away, Scuttle Squad banning it out. Of course, KVM blue side right now, so that means they get first pick, which would mean that if they leave the Kai'Sa open, 9 times out of 10, Drago would pick up the Kai'Sa as a first pick. They take away Yone as well, leaving Lilia open, and because junglers oftentimes get picked up relatively early on, Scuttle Squad could be taking Lilia here as well and building from there. Camille left open once again. Zoe gets taken away from Henk Henkerson. He hasn't been able to play that today at all. And now interested to see what KVM is going to get out here. Oof, they are going to pick up the Seraphine again. Seen him play once before, and it went pretty well. So possibly for game 2 here against Scuttle Squad, could be the pickup they need.
It was the champion on which they got their only win today on the Open Tour against AES. Of course, we saw Seraphine being played by Bisco. Of course, this is still a flex pick. They could still swap it over to Mandrago. I'm sorry, to Hank.
Could swap it over to Mandrago as well.
Well,
Sliver
plays
plays.
well, of course. AP casters as an AD carry position.
Sliver played it in the Belgian league, so why not?
Ah, true. We could see some shenanigans, but I doubt that will be the case. Lilia, as you said, being picked up instantly in the first rotation by Scuttle Squad. Annie being picked up is probably going to be another placeholder, so we'll hear soon what this is. And yeah, Henk Henkerson, Oriana's still open, Azur's still open. We've seen him play that before. And he has other options. He likes to play these control mages on the mid lane, so I'm expecting him to go back to that.
Once again, Lilia gets picked up. Annie is, of course, a placeholder. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this time around it is for Senna. So Senna as the AD carry going to be picked up here for Maoki. Possibly support for Mahonix, but as we've only seen Senna being played in the AD carry position, we're assuming that's going to be the case. And as Kai'Sa has been picked away, Jhin gets picked up here. Jhin, Seraphine, pretty safe lane, long range. They have the CC with a snipe, with, of course, the Seraphine CC regardless. And now Camille was hovered before, and it looks like they are going to eventually go for that one. They didn't want to have a Senna Seraphine bottom lane on the side of KVM, so taking that one away first. As Ollie once again picks up his Hecarim. And now once again we do have Camille. God damn it, I wanted to say we have Camille in top lane again so they could pick up Jax, but they don't, because it's banned away.
Very smart by Scuttle Squad to pick it as a third champion, and then right after that ban the Jax. They're not giving Mortar anything to work with. Not sure if he's going Wukong again, just because how it backfired last time.
Could go Shen.
Because of the early pressure from Lilia in the lane. He could go Shen. Shen handles pretty well against Camille, because she does a lot of damage with the auto attacks, and with the dodge field, the shields from his passive, Shen can hold his own pretty well. So that is a possibility. And of course we know that he likes to play it, and he plays it to good extent with the ultimates for his team. So they could go for it. Of course you are playing against the Senna, so you do need that good engage. You have Oli again on Hecarim, but does he have to do it alone, or are you going to make sure that he has a diving buddy with him to really make sure that the AD carry is dead? That is what we will have to see here. Meanwhile, bot lane still needs a support, and it looks like they are going to go for this Thresh.
Thresh Senna, of course, lore-wise, ooh, never mind. Braum Senna, lore-wise, I don't think has anything to do with each other. Or at least not as much as Thresh and Senna do. And now the Shen does get hovered. Talked about it last draft. He went for the Wukong. This draft again. Of course, a possibility against the Camille. Wants to battle it out with a bit more survivability as opposed to damage, but then they swap over to a Mumu, which I'm gonna assume will be a
He's a
placeholder.
placeholder.
I'm getting a message already. A Mumu is gonna be Azir. So that means that Henk
Okay.
Henkerson, once again, Azir, picked up. He played it in the second game today against AES. They won. It is still one of his most played or highest mastered champions. And eventually they don't decide to go for the Shen, but it's going to be Renekton in the top.
And
Oh,
Renekton fares fairly well into Camille, but Admawodo is a main Renekton player. He has like 800 game mastery on the champion. So I think that he knows the matchup. He knows what the champion does, and we'll have to see if he can play around it with his Camille. Of course, Renekton also one of those champions that is a little bit harder to dive than the Wukong, as we saw earlier, because he has that guaranteed stun. He has the heal from his Q. So maybe Mortar is prepared to play the weak side again, and he knows that he can do it with Renekton. So I feel like that is where they are going with. And this time around, they also have a little bit of scaling towards the late game with the Azir in their pocket as well. However, Senna, always that ticking time bomb against you, as we saw when Sector 1 played it, where the game lasted for 2 days. Yeah, that were
yes,
a lot of stacks.
we started Thursday.
Yeah, we started Thursday, and some say it's still going on.
Legend has it, the game still has not been finished. Both teams going for Baron number 30,000 at this very moment. As we're going to go back into a redraft between these two teams. I'll show all you lovely viewers this second time round draft of Game 2 as well. For those who missed it the first time. So we have the Renekton Camille matchup in the top lane. Azir is the mid laner, by the way. Those two have just swapped position in the draft, but that's not a Azir jungle and Hecarim mid. It's actually the way you would think it is.
Or is it?
Or is it? As LeBlanc gets actually picked up as well, something we haven't really talked about. In the mid lane here for Jenny, or Genie. I think it's Jenny. Double N. Is it a Grul?
I think it is Jenny. I don't know if it's a girl. Somebody confirm in the chat.
Confirm, please.
That we know what's up. But that being said, LeBlanc pickup. We haven't seen much LeBlanc in the open tour so far.
0.
I think it's fairly okay against Azir, because
I think so.
yeah, she can just dump all the damage on him. He should not be tanky at all. Can assassinate people, and if LeBlanc gets rolling, it is so scary to play against.
Yeah, because against the Jhin and the Seraphine, same thing. Seraphine gets blown up, Jhin gets blown up. Pronunciation is correct. It is Jenny. Good. Now all we need to know is it a dude or is it not a dude? Because Jenny's a girl's name, right? Which is fine, by the way.
Well,
people start bashing us.
I heard a story of a colleague who said that he once had to play pool against someone named Wendy, and he was like, I don't like pooling against a girl. But then it turned out that Wendy was a dude, and he clapped his ass. Wendy was a mean pool player.
Wendy was a mean pool player, dude, and pulled the Uno reverse card on his booty. He said, "Yo, man, my name's Wendy. What up?"
I'm Wendy, and I'm gonna kick it. Yeah,
anyways, we have confirmation actually that Jenny's dude in this case. And this dude that is called Jenny played a hell of a Galio last game. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to play a hell of a LeBlanc game this game as well. We do have Henkerson on, you know, a big comfort pick for himself. Mindrago on more of a comfort pick on the Jhin than his last game where he had the Zaya, which wasn't really comfortable for him. I don't know why he didn't pick up Jhin or possibly even Ezreal that game. Don't really know, but whatever. What's in the past is in the past. And at this point, looking at the Lilia again, big, big, big issue last game, and they just leave it open, thinking that it will be fine this time around. I don't know.
Well,
Looked
they
scary.
do have more lockdown with their comp this time. A little bit more guaranteed as well with the Renekton stun that they can land. And of course, if one thing lands, they can follow up with everything. You have Seraphine who has 2 CC capabilities. You have the Jhin who can snare. You have Hecarim with his ultimate. You have Azir with the wall that he can push them back. You have the They have tools to do something if they get the lockdown on. So both for Lilia, both for LeBlanc, both for Senna, it is gonna be a big problem when some of those abilities hit. Because they're not going to move, they're going to die, and it will be mainly on the Honixmen to make sure that they are protected, because they don't really have a front line to catch anything.
Yeah, they don't really have a front line. That is true. I mean, both teams don't really have a front line. KVM has Renekton, Hecarim, I guess.
Do you remember
Scuttle Squad has Braum.
The Renekton from Electro in the first game today?
Yes, that was a front line indeed.
That was a front line. I mean, depending on what you build on him,
That's
that
true.
Croc can be so incredibly scary.
Yes, this is true.
What did he have? He had a GA, Sterak's, and a Gargoyles.
And of course, Gore Drinker and his Kuldamik.
Exactly. I mean, then
It's a lot of
Papadominus for some extra HP as well. I was baffled how tanky a Renekton could get in the late game. I always felt like, okay, mid game he's beasting, but at the end he dips a little bit.
So
but
basically,
didn't mind.
You're saying that you're a terrible Renekton player.
Sure.
Damn it.
Depending on if I would have to play against
Electro.
Yes, my Renekton would not be tanky, he would be spanked.
He would be spanky.
Exactly. That is what it is.
A couple more seconds into the loading screen. Spam this yacht to help Scuttle Squad. Is that a boat?
It is so tiny, I can't see it, but
I don't know. It looks like a...
But spam it, bros. Spam it.
Spam it. Go for it.
Spam
Boys, we need it.
as much as your heart desires.
Go for it, exactly. We are into the loading screen of this second game of the best of 3. Scuttle Squad is ahead by 1. In a fairly one-sided first game of this series. As now, of course, the Hexic Renekton looking very scary. So might be able to do more this time around.
But as we said, of course, Admawodo, knowing this champ in and out, he will not be surprised by any damage, I think, and of course playing a great game with Camille last time against Mortar's Wukong, who was up till that point one of the picks that we didn't think could be losing his lane, but it was focused pretty hard by Absent there as well, getting the Lilia again. This game might be problems for KVM, but we'll see what it gives. Maybe they have a plan now ready to counter this Bambi in the jungle.
Maybe this time around they have more of a plan, as the Bambi is dancing around with the little birdie. Yeah. Hecarim doing some rock and roll in his bush. Gonna base, of course, for a sweeper and starting on the bottom side of the map as well. Not going for the top side, as you know, could have been possible. Gonna start with red buff most likely instead of chickens. However, could do both. Gonna be there on time. Looking to go for red buff, and now Renekton into Camille. Wukong into Camille clearly was not really Mortar favorite. What are we saying about this Renekton Camille? He should be fine, but once again, Camille with a passive shield can block a lot of damage.
Yeah, she is a champion that can do the in and out trades very well, as you said, with that passive. But Renekton, once he has the stun, it's easy for him to damage them as well. Meanwhile, Jenny going for that early proc onto Henkerson. And as we said, this game is do or die for KVM Mechelen. Scuttle Squad is in a fairly comfortable position here, because if they lose, they can still go on to the next game. But for KVM Mechelen, this is everything. and that puts maybe a little bit more pressure on their shoulders for this moment.
They found some damage in the bottom lane as now Admawoldo hits level 2. Gonna go in for a little bit of a stun auto attack trade back at you against the Renekton. Hecarim pinging here. I'm going into my own jungle, guys, just so you know. My wolves will now be taken by me. Lilia and Hecarim both not, of course, ganking yet. Looking for their first full clear. And then possible Scuttle squad denial for KVM.
Mortar made sure that his wave was pushed under the turret so he can let it bounce back to him. Doesn't want to get ganked again like last time, and he doesn't want to get chunked because it was in the very early dive from Absent Desire that put him back last time. I make sure that the wave control is for him. And in bot lane, I absolutely love the Braum skin. Santa Braum is the best Braum skin in the game, so those are definitely some style points for Mahonixman there. Just swagging with a little chimney on the bot side.
Oof.
Can't go wrong with that.
And Admawoldo in the top lane already showing dominance. Full HP versus less than half HP on Renekton. XP lead already. And is going to look to reset here. Grab in some gold, some items, sorry. Longsword and then ran away from the longsword. Ooh, is actually... Ooh, that's interesting. He's, alright. He's actually going for a little bit of extra gold in his build now on the Camille.
Yeah, the gold pickup is always good if you plan on scaling. And now they are going for Absent Desire, who is able to flash very fast, which is always good if you don't want to lose your half HP bar in the process. It does mean that KV Mechelen Academy gets some pressure on the bot side. Scuttle should go to Ollie, which means that the squad loses their name buff. Mortar playing aggressive here.
Really aggressive in... Yeah, he had 10 or more minions on his side. Helping him out, of course, doing quite a lot of damage. Both top laners playing with teleport, of course. No ignite kill pressure there. Or there would have been probably more aggression already. And what are we thinking about this Cull? Do we like the fact that he's gonna go for extra damage and more, not late game, but of course his power spike is gonna come a bit later, maybe? But then suddenly he's gonna have 300 gold extra. As opposed to a longsword, which he picked up first.
Well, this just tells me, no, I'm gonna hold it because there is a lot of CC going on in the bot lane.
Seraphine might be in trouble here, doesn't have flash, heal is down as well, double teleport gonna come through now, they're gonna keep fighting with Seraphine, it's gonna be enough damage. Renekton with the stun is gonna find first blood, and now the return kill from Admawoldo, he's now very much in trouble as he gets charged on by Hecarim. The damage should be enough, no more flash on him. Renekton needs one more called Meek to take him down, and KV Mechelen actually winning the first fight in this game.
This is something that Mortar was missing for the first 30 minutes of the previous game, and he is 2-0 now. Much more comfortable position to be in. KV Mechelen gonna pick up that first Drake in classic fashion for them. And it was a good play, and I think that Mauki underestimated that Relic a little bit because he walked towards his TP spot and he just got deleted with the Ruthless Predator into the Golden Meek. Nothing he could do there. Even had his flash up, so I'm not sure if that was the best they could do there. Camille getting a kill as well, but still overall that was a one play for KV Mechelen.
The double TP, good job by both top laners jumping into the fray, both picking up a kill, but Renekton actually picking up 2. He's slightly behind in farm, but with those 2 kills and now maybe even Seraphine in the top lane, she's gonna have to be careful that the Camille doesn't just completely jump onto her. Great chain CC there from them. They want to take the Hecarim assist away, but I think he just got it with the edge of his W. It's gonna be enough indeed. And a good roam here by, oh no, I was going to say good roam here by, oof, good flash as well. Good roam by Bisco, sorry, towards the top lane. Flash burned from Ginny in the bottom.
There is no Hecarim player that uses Spirit of the Dread as all he does. He makes with so much work with that ability. Previously, he got a kill with Red Smite into W, and now he does this to get the assist. Love to see it. Mortar making sure that his lead is extended, pushing the wave under the turret, getting that next wave, and then gonna roam towards Camille because she's fighting with Hecarim there.
That was really close as he's going to go into the Camille. His Renekton is just around the corner, but LeBlanc is going to join in on the fray as well, as the flash stun from Renekton is going to be enough to then let Hecarim pick up that kill. Dive potential in the bottom lane. Bram going to use his ultimate very low on Seraphine. Drago going to go low as well. Gets ignited. Is going to be enough. He finds the turn. Kill, however, onto Brahma 2 for 1. Eventually double kill for Lilia, putting Absent Desire on the board. And he could start rolling his snowball more and more into the enemy face now with those 2 kills.
KVM making a play happen there on the top side, meanwhile counterplay for Forlement's bot side. And it was a really good snare from Bisco to start off that dive. He made sure that Maoki was held in place, which made them lack a little bit damage and took the finishing off a little bit too long, which gave Mandrago the chance to pick up Mahonix there as a trade kill, which made the best of a bad situation for them. Still, KV Mechelen with a slight gold lead. It's not that much, but still.
100.
And we do see Jenny here pressuring Azir time and time again. However, the gold lead is fairly even. These mid laners are treating the mid lane like a top lane. They're on an island in the middle of the map.
The island in the middle of the map, a classic between 2 waters. Top river and bottom river, as both supports have having some fun in the mid lane as well. And now another gank in the top lane as they are able to stop the second charge from Altma Woldo's Camille. Don't want to go for the dive as Hextech opening, of course, is up and can juke out the damage in the end. No Onslaught of Shadows as well, and decide to just let her base, which she doesn't.
Time around, Ole really focusing the top lane together with Mortar, making sure that it is not a repeat from last game that he is behind, because Mortar is such an important part of this squad time and time again. When he is ahead, he stays ahead and can just bully his laner out. And they want to go that route this time. Pick up the Drake, pick up the Herald. Early game in favor of KVM Mechelen Academy. And that is how we usually see it. However, there might be a play on Hank. Great shuffle by him.
That's the sleep. Good shuffle by him using his wall as well. And now LeBlanc is actually in trouble. Gonna go down to the turret. Good job by Hank. And now the Onslaught of Shadows is gonna be used as well onto the Lilia here. Isn't gonna be enough. Eventually not, as Camille joins the fray here. Doing quite some damage, but there's the Renekton following his top laner as well. And a 4-0-1 Renekton with even farm on a rampage. 1-0-3 mid laner. Sorry, jungler. And mid laner playing the gank out really well.
Oh, Mahonix, watch out, because you're taking a lot of damage. And I feel like these plays are always close. For Elements is right there to take it back, to make a return play. But then still KVM Mechelen comes on top in these games. You see everyone moving towards the mid lane. We just called it an island and everyone wanted to go on vacation. And it is KVM Mechelen who gets the coupon to do it. And they really make the lead happen there. Getting the kills on Mortar time and time again. And of course Hank doing, you can say, an outplay there. He was really fast on shuffle. A good ultimate on Genie. And Genie underestimating that. Going too deep, taking the kill. And that is something you don't want when you're playing LeBlanc. You need to get that mythic very fast and start getting the snowball running. Now he has been set behind a bit.
And at this point, basically only Lilia really has something to say in this game on the side of Scuttle Squad. As Mortar's ahead, but if he takes those trades the way he just did, then Camille is potentially able to get back. Never mind, because he just heals up and wins the trade eventually for himself. This game is looking a lot better for KVM Esports Academy. 1,000 gold ahead. Next Drake has spawned, so they could potentially go for the second one as well. And it could be the first Infernal Soul this time.
Infernal Soul would definitely be a good pickup for both teams because they have so much damage in their kit. To be honest, Cloud, not bad either because you have the Hecarim that benefits so much of this movement speed. They're trying to contest this Drake, but it is KVM Mechelen who really says, no, this is our domain. We are in charge in the river, and
Infernal.
Scuttle Squad doesn't really dare to come close. And as you said, there is our first Infernal Rift.
The first Infernal Rift of today for the games of KVM, at least as far as they go. So we're gonna see which team can pick those up, as this time they do find the sleep, but Hecarim is there to save his mid laner. A lot of damage once again onto the LeBlanc. Wow. Jenny gets taken down. So much burst from the Azir combined with all these Hecarim. Now he has to ghost away. He had no mana left, so he needed to make sure to get out of that one. Ghost, of course, not a very long cooldown, not as long as Flash, so can use that pretty frequently.
Oh, there they go on the bot lane. Heavy engage.
Insane engage. Cleanse get used by Mindrago. Is it gonna be enough? Probably not. The last Q from Braum goes wide, and now they're going really hard. They missed the engage. They're not happy about it. And they tried to look for more, but fell short.
They don't get the fourth hit off on Bisco. They don't get the Winter's Bite on Mindrago, and that means that the important hits don't come through. KVM can just disengage here, but they're not ready yet. They're still going. And Jhin on the wrong side here, but he is, of course, very fast. He gets out unscathed.
And Lilia was in the wings as well with a bowling ball, running it through the river. I think he's just missed Jhin as well. Not finding the sleep. Eventually didn't have his ult up either. As Hank gonna go in to pick up the blue buff for himself. And at this point he's close to 10 farm ahead. He's 1-0-1. And for a mid laner who wants to scale into the lake, and that's pretty decent, as Hecarim is gonna jump to the top lane again. Onslaught of Shadows not up yet, still on cooldown. But they burn the flash and the ult on Camille. So possibly looking for a dive now, but have to be careful because Lilia
charging
is there as well, as she's starting to use her Q a little bit on the sides. Not going to be enough. Eventually they decide against the dive. Smart play. Don't know where Lilia is. Don't dive.
We were just a little bit too early. If Mortar could have gotten aggro there, they could have potentially made a play out of it, but then you risk your top lane dying as well, so you never know what the best scenario was there. However, KVM Mechelen still in the wings here. This is 2v2.
Oh, this is 2v2, but it's going to be a double sleep here by Lilia. Mortar needs to flash out of this one. Goes really low, needs his call. The Meek gets bubbled again. Is it going to be enough? No, it isn't. Yes, it is, but not on Mortar. It's actually going to be on Hecarim, as now Jenny going to come in, finds a shutdown, which is going to be huge for the LeBlanc. Asleep on Almawodo. He survives. How is this even possible? Lilia going super low. Hank gonna jump back in, uses his ult to separate them from himself, but it's not gonna be enough, and now it's a 4v1 in the top lane. Almawodo gonna go low, gets taken down eventually, very greedy by him. They find the stun onto Hank Henkerson, who uses his cleanse to get out of that one, and that was a bit of a wonky fight, but it puts Scuttle Squad back into the game.
Hank just sliding
in the DMs.
And Almawodo, he was limit testing if I ever saw it. If you search the word limit testing, I think you see just a picture of his face there, because he was just constantly going in again with 5% HP and living, and eventually Hank was thinking, no, it's enough, you die. And he picks up the kill, gets out, but all in all, a one play for Scuttle Squad. KVM just going a little bit too deep under the turret, while they know that it is a 2v2, the rest is on his way, and this gives Scuttle Squad an edge, because LeBlanc picked up a big shutdown on Renekton. Did get the 700 gold in the pocket, has the mythic item finished now, and that does mean that LeBlanc assassination is just that more powerful.
Yeah, KVM is gonna have to be careful that they don't do any more wacky fights like they did on the top side of the map just a couple minutes ago. That does put Scuttle Squad back into, not the driver's seat yet, but at least not in the back of the car. They're in the passenger seat right now. So they have something to say, as they found another sleep here on to Nazir, who uses his ult just to say, nah, just stay there. I don't need to push you away, I just need to keep you away. And it works out for him, as now both teams, of course, looking for this first Infernal Drake of the map as they look for the engage. Ollie finds it eventually. It's going to be onto Brum, not the one you really want, but he goes down really fast. Hankerson picking up that kill, and Scuttle Squad deciding against it. Actually, they're not deciding against it. They keep going for it as Jenny is going to go in. The charm hits onto Senna. The bind's not going to go onto them, but look at the pony in the back. Hankerson going really low. Lilia is going to find the shutdown eventually. It's going to be enough as Mindrago uses his ultimate, not at the best possible time. Almawodo still there with his team. Jenny is gonna get out. Oli is an insane piece. He gets binded by Jenny. KVM is all low. Almawodo is basically at full HP. Never mind. Mortar says no to them. They find a shutdown. One more for Oli. Another bind. This one's gonna miss. Almawodo is alive somehow. So is Jenny. And they keep looking for the charge. It's gonna be a double kill for Oli. What an absolute beast on this Hecarim, as they are gonna win the fight and of course pick up their third dragon of the game, put them on Infernal Soul point.
I love Scuttle Squad's mobility in these fights. They're really in, out with the LeBlanc, the Lilia and the Camille. But you have a big problem in Ollie at this point. He is the guy that just runs up and they can't deal with him. He's too strong, he's too fat, he does way too much damage. No one can really touch him. And it makes it that KVM wins this fight. It wasn't the clearest fight, but it was still convincing. And they pick up their Drake, which means they're on soul point for the Infernal Soul. If they pick that one up, their chances of winning this game are really, really good. And that means that we might potentially have a 3-game round of 16.
This could be a potential 3-game series on our hands here if KVM is able to keep up the way they're playing right now in this game. If they do into the 3rd game potentially, they could actually kick out the last week's runner-up and go into the quarterfinals tomorrow. But that's of course a lot of talk for things that are not really yet close to happening at all. 5-1 Hecarim, however, 4-1-3 Renekton, and a 3-1-1, sorry, Azir. At this point, he's the win condition, and if he can keep playing the way he is, he's gonna be able to carry this game together with his 2 frontliners.
And Scuttle Squad, they basically knew Ollie was gonna play Hecarim. They saw it last game, they didn't ban it, they see that he plays it a lot, and maybe they do regret not banning it at this point, because he is impacting the game so much. However, Absent Desire also 4-1 in 3, again going that Zonya route into the Dark Seal. And once that Landries is finished, he'll do a lot more damage in those fights, so I'm not sure if this game is already played. Both teams very equal, very possible to turn it. And Genie did work with LeBlanc as well in that fight, so we can potentially see some one-shots in the future.
Genie in a bottle in the mid lane. LeBlanc 2-2-2 of course has the Ludens, so there is some burst on the LeBlanc. If she can find the Jhin, I think she can probably potentially blow him up. Of course at this point Jhin not really the big carry on the side of KVM, as we said, with Ollie, Mortar and Hank playing really good games, all 3 of them at this point. And Scuttle Squad needs to be careful that, you know, in 2 minutes and 30 seconds they pick up, if KV is able to pick up another Infernal Drake, then possibilities are there for them to actually close out the game.
So Scuttle Squad, they want to make sure that they have the vision around there, that they do a pick before that objective spawns. And they have a comp that really needs to come from all sides. As we saw on the last dance with Dragon, they're not a front to back comp. They really try to flank constantly, making sure that KV Mechelen is pulled to all sides, and that makes their comp strong. But they have to play it out, and that is definitely not that easy, especially with the lead that some of these members from KVM Mechelen have. Mortar being so scary next to Ollie is a damage-heavy frontline. But potentially with Genie and Lilia, they can get a pick before this objective is there. 1 minute 30 seconds. This will be a huge factor this game.
This will be a huge factor, effectively, as another minute, a little bit more, until the Drake will spawn, and KVM need to start prepping this Drake, because once again, if they get it, they're on Infernal Soul, gonna boost their damage, and with champions like Renekton, Hecarim, and Azir all being quite far ahead of their counterparts, well, not that far ahead, at least in the jungle, but the top lane and the mid lane are relatively far ahead. 13 to 8, 2k gold lead, close to 2k gold lead, mostly coming from there. Of course, the two 80 carries cannot be forgotten, both on 2 items already. They're gonna have a decent impact in these games as well, especially if the other side potentially like forgets the fact that they're there because they're not fed. And then they can start doing free damage and could actually pump out quite a lot of it. As Drake is spawning very, very soon now.
Also, Maoki Senna, he has 28 stacks, which is nothing in this point in the game. Should have had way more, but you're playing against double range in the bot lane. You're not really able to do much because Mortar just deletes you from the map. And that puts you in a tough spot in this AD carry that does rely on the range that she gets at some point. Meanwhile, KVM starting off this dragon, going for the soul. Is there something that the Scuttle squad can do here?
Oh, they're gonna find the charm, not at all, but blue team does pick it up, so KVM has the Infernal Soul and can now go for the fight with this extra buff. Of course, as Ollie jumps onto the Camille, uses his ultimate in the backline, finds Lilia eventually doing so much damage. She uses her Zhonya's, double Zhonya's. Kind of looked like it was a double Zhonya's, but there's a double kill for LeBlanc as Henkerson does pick up Almawodo eventually, and LeBlanc able to zone off quite a lot here with the Hecarim. He's able to jump away.
They're not
Double
out yet.
kill, a double kill for Mortar as well. They're not quite out yet, but KVM winning the fight eventually 2 for 3 in their favor, and they pick up the Infernal Soul. That's gonna be a big, big swing in their favor once again.
And it was weird decision making by 4-Element Scuttle Squad here. They lose the dragon very clearly. They are too late, or at least they don't pull the gun there to fight. And when the Drake is gone, 2 seconds after, you see Atmawodo jumping in the pit in a 1v5. It's like, you don't need to fight anymore. The objective is gone. They are pretty strong at this point. You need the Senna to have stacks. You want LeBlanc to make a pick at some angle, but you don't have to go team fight fully because there is no really objective anymore that you can take off of that unless you get a clean ace, which is unthinkable at this point. But they do it anyway. So next to the soul, which is huge, they also give up a few kills, which puts KVM in a really comfortable spot here. 3k gold lead, soul in the pocket, ready to make this a 3-game series.
And Jenny actually looking to fight the 614 Renekton and actually gets him to close to half HP with just a small little burst there. A small amount of abilities used, of course, that's the way LeBlanc works. And, able to burst down Renekton pretty hard. As now they're looking for Mindrago, who just walks into Almawodo, the sickest bait of my life. What the heck was that? And Lilia gets taken down as well. Mindrago, he puts the mind in Mindrago. This guy has a mind of I don't know, 74 people put together. That was the most insane bait I've seen ever. And they pick up 2 kills, jungler, top laner, and can now go for a free Baron. Scuttle Squad is not looking to contest this at all. Picked up for KVM on top of their Infernal Soul.
Yeah, they do need to scale a lot to do anything versus KVM Mechelen, but they are still keen on fighting, on getting picks, on playing their game, which I can commend, but it's not paying off at this point. KV Mechelen looking to push with this Baron. I want to see them use it because this is also something that we often see from this team. They pick up the Baron and then they're gonna fight near an objective or in the jungle instead of using it to pressure the lanes. And I hope that they can use this now because there are no objectives anywhere and there is no need to fight in the jungle. Just go for the base, break it open, even force a team fight there because they are so much stronger at this point.
They're very, very strong at this point. They have the Baron to push. They have the Infernal Soul to fight. Elder Drake is spawning in 2 minutes 20 seconds, which they will definitely want to go for as well. And Scuttle Squad is going to be forced to actually try and do something about that, as they are going to push into the enemy base. First inhibitor tower of the game is going to start getting chunked. And of course, with that Azir passive, they can just put up an extra tower as Mortar in the bottom lane battling it out with Almawodo, but he gets chunked down really hard. The Seraphine ult goes wide. Mortar eventually does survive, though. So do the guys on Scuttle Squad. And he did pick up a turret, so eventually a win again for KVM. As a lot of damage is going to come through here. The bind just not going to reach. Jhin ult is going to be used here. Curtain's Call needs one more hit onto the LeBlanc. Not going to find it eventually. But the inhibitor turret in the bottom lane is going to be taken down. The inhibitor, sorry, not the turret. The inhibitor is going to be taken down. They find the engage onto Braum. He's going to go really low, but it's not going to be enough because he's pretty tanky. Good ult by Azir there, pushing them away from that fight, picking up the kill onto Lilia. It's the shutdown. 2 kills for KVM. Third kill going to go down. This is the fourth. This should be the fifth. This should be the game as well. Braum is going to survive, but it's not going to matter at all. A double kill for Hanks. Azir, and they're actually gonna finish the game, find the 1-1. We're going to a 3-game series.
I mean, KV Mechelen, we've said it before, great early game usually, not so great finish potential in the early game. They usually take a bit longer, but they finished the game under 30 minutes in overwhelming fashion. Scuttle Squad, I think they might have underestimated them a little bit, not banning out the Hecarim from Ollie, knowing that they beaten him in the first game, but you can't count this man's pony out. He has so much threat on it, and they basically outplay Sector Squad in this game. And
Sector Squad.
Sector Squad, Sector Skull Squads game. Let's go to the commercial.
Cut the commercials. We're gonna go into the third and final game of this best of 3. And at this point, Scuttle Squad looked really strong in the first game, and it looked like they would close out the second game potentially even stronger. But then KVM just said, no. Listen, we're still here.
Come close and listen.
We have some picks and some ideas here. You have no idea. You're gonna think we're gonna take the Wukong again, but no, boom. Smacking out the Renekton. And with the pressure on the top lane, top side, strong side this game for KVM. And they find the kills they need. They are able to shut down the Camille, who is then not able to continue split pushing as he was able to do in the first game, which meant he had to move over the map to help out his team. But then, of course, Camille is better in split push potentially, and so on and so forth. So really well played by KVM just to sit actually in the top lane, shut down the Camille, and then win from there. And of course, Henk Henkerson, some good plays as well in mid lane, and then eventually winning the game with his team.
I wonder what this last game of this best of 3 will bring. Both teams won a game very cleanly against each other. We haven't really seen a close game like the one against Sector 1 in the first game today. Maybe the third game will be like that. Anyway, both teams need to get this win to proceed to the quarterfinals tomorrow. So we will have a short break of 5 minutes and then we'll be back for this last game of the round of 16 between KVM Academy and 4 Elements Scuttle Squad.